Arsenal, Liverpool, and Manchester United could be in the market in January. So me and H have come up with a little bit of a list of players that they could potentially sign. Let's start with Liverpool. They've got a bit of a centre-back injury crisis, and obviously Virgil van Dijk is out of contract soon. Are there any options on the market that you think that might be available in Jan?
January's a really tough month, isn't it? There's a few names that we've got written down in front of us. Jonathan Tah is one that's been mentioned. Obviously, his contract expires in the summer, which is why he's on a few clubs' radars, Barcelona being linked as well. You know better than me in terms of the profile of centre-back that Liverpool will be looking for. But is he somebody that could fit in alongside Virgil van Dijk?
I think there's a lot of talk about his profile potentially being similar to Van Dijk. I don't think technically he's anywhere near Van Dijk's level, but also you almost need like someone next to Van Dijk, and he's good in aerial duels, 70% success rate. I've always had a question mark over Jonathan Tah. That he's 28 years old, and every summer since the year I've been sort of doing the transfer show, which is probably 5 years, he's linked to someone every single window and never makes a move. That's always a concern inside for me. But his contract is up, and Bayer Leverkusen probably won't be renewing it, so he probably will get a move somewhere. I don't see Liverpool getting him in Jan. Because this is a centre back that wants to start games, and Konaté will be fit soon enough. I don't know how long Joe Gomez is out for, and you don't really want to stunt Kwanzaa's growth that much. Saying all that, I want Piero Hincapié at Bayer Leverkusen because I think he's the most natural left-sided centre back. Obviously, it means Van Dijk potentially would have to switch to the other side, but I actually would play him at left back. I think Liverpool need to upgrade that left back area. I think you'll survive at centre back for the time being, and typically Liverpool aren't going to spend so much money in Jan to bring players in. So that's probably where I'm at. Arsenal, there's a lot of options in front of me here. Victor Gyökeres, let's start there.
Well, he's been admired by Arsenal fans for a long time. He's been linked for a long time. But just, I look at what Sporting want for him, which is rumoured to be around about £70 million. And I just don't see a world in which Arsenal put that kind of money on the table in January. I think, for me, the kind of hope is that Arsenal identify someone that maybe they were looking at for the summer and just try and bring the transfer forward. So maybe spending a little bit extra to get the deal done that bit earlier to try and cope with some of the problems they got at the minute. But I've never been totally convinced that Gyökeres is that guy.
Really?
No, I'm like, if Isak was available for an amount that Arsenal deem reasonable, then I think that's one that you push that little bit extra for. I think there's a couple of others, like Benjamin Sesko was linked with Arsenal last summer, and then it didn't happen. He ended up staying another year, maybe with a view to it happening this summer. For instance, if you could get that done early by throwing an extra 10, 15 million quid on top of the deal, by all means do it. But Gyökeres was there for the taking, and Arsenal never went for it in the past, so I'm not sure they're going to pivot now.
There's also names like Kolo Muani, Leroy Sané, Kingsley Coman, more budget options for the current situation, obviously with Saka being out. I agree with you. I don't think Gyökeres or Benjamin Sesko are going to arrive in Jan unless Arsenal go really hell for leather for the title, which actually I would recommend because I think it is there for Arsenal to do, but I don't think they will. Any of Kolo Muani, Leroy Sané, Kingsley Coman, no.
they're all big names, like based on what they've done in their careers so far. But like Kingsley Coman, injury ridden, it's going to want a massive salary. So that feels like it's going to be a difficult deal to do. I know that Bayern kind of want rid of him and that story is coming to an end, but I feel like it's going to be difficult. You look at someone like Leroy Sané again, I'm going to talk about injuries. So you're bringing in an injury-prone player to deal with an injury that's currently causing you a problem. Don't know that works necessarily. Kolo Muani, it feels like he's being offered around to a load of clubs, so it feels like agent talk to me more than anything else. The other one is Brian Mbeumo, scored against Arsenal at the weekend, and I know a lot of people are looking at him as an option, but having just sold Ivan Toney, I can't see Brentford buckling. I think they're going to want a lot of money, and again, it comes back to that point. I don't think Arsenal are going to do it.
Very quickly, going to go back to Kolo Muani because before we started recording, you said you're not sold on him because you don't like chaotic players. Can you explain that?
I like players that I know what I'm going to get from. I'm not saying that you want to get that. You want to coach that spontaneity out of him. I think it's needed in a lot of instances. But Kolo Muani just blows too hot and cold for me. You know, one time I watch him and I think he's brilliant. And the next time I watch him and I think he's really average. And I can't make my mind up on him. So if you're going to go and try and strengthen the squad in January, it's got to be someone. It might be a player with a lower ceiling, but it's got to be someone that I know is going to come in and give me a base level of performance. Otherwise, what's the point? Yeah. Like Trossard was.
Yeah.
Right. They bought Leandro Trossard in. You knew what you were going to get from Leandro Trossard. You knew what you were going to get from Jorginho. They're January signings. Colin Muani's too much of a risk.
Yeah, I hear that. I have a theory that you need more chaos in your team to allow you to be more expressive, to therefore allow you to win more games out of nowhere. Say the Everton game, like a Mateus Cunha could win you that game, but then you have to deal with the fact that next week you might miss 5 chances. And then Manchester United, all the talk is about left backs. Anthony Robinson, 7 assists already this season. I think that game at Anfield, he knew was like an advert for him to get more suitors in, because suddenly since then he was linked to Real Madrid this week as well. Where are you with this one?
Well, I think that Manchester United need specialist wing backs, and Anthony Robinson might not be playing in that system right now, but we know that he's got the skill set to do it. Whereas Diogo Dalot, Mazraoui, not 100% certain on those at the minute. Anthony Robinson's a good option, but at 27 years old, you're going to buy him from a fellow Premier League club. They're going to want a lot of money. Yeah. Maybe Milos Gyökeres is a better option if you're looking at that longer term solution, but that's just one of 11 positions that Man United need to fix. So, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I think Anthony Robinson would cost too much in January, and also Fulham don't need to sell him. They've sold a few big players recently. Milos Gyökeres is another one where I think if you're Bournemouth, you're going, we don't need to sell either because we're doing really well in the league. So, yeah, according to me and H, no one's signing for anyone this January.
Slow window.